हेलो एवरीबॉडी, नमस्ते। होपफुली आप लोगों का दिन अभी तक अच्छा जा रहा होगा। वी आर गोइंग टू बी स्टार्टिंग अ न्यू सीरीज अबाउट Python beginners and basic concepts. It's gonna have everything that you're all gonna need to get started with Python, and we are all gonna have a blast. We are all gonna learn. You're gonna learn. Hopefully, I'm definitely gonna learn from this, and this is gonna be an absolute blast, absolute banger. So let's get right into it. My name is Sujal Beniwal, and I can't wait to just open this project and start learning and start hopefully help you learn. So let's get right into it. So before we get any further, I just have a quick note on how to download Python and Pycharm basically. So Python, to download Python, you're gonna have to go on a website called www.python.org. All the links are in the description down below. Just visit the description. It is very easy. Just click on the link and you'll be on the web page of Python. Or if you want to do it like that, the link is up there, python.org/downloads. Once you're on the web page, you're gonna have to click this yellow button to download Python 3.10.8. Is the latest version of Python available. If you have a Mac OS or if you have any older PC where you might have older version of Python, I recommend you give this a check, because Python 3 in my opinion is better than the older version of it, Python 2. People say it might be more reliable, but Python 3 is basically getting more updates. It has better code, better speed, and it is being kept more up to date. So we are going to be using Python 3, and I recommend you download Python 3. Check if you have Python 3 updated and everything. And once you have done that, it's a 2-minute setup process. Don't worry about it. Now, once you have done that, we can move on to Pycharm. So, Pycharm. What is Pycharm? So if you wanna code Python, you can basically code Python into anything. You can code Python in a notepad if you want. But the thing about this is Pycharm is it's like an integrated developing environment. It's gonna help you code more. It's gonna give you an environment. It's gonna give you tools. It's gonna give you auto correction features to run your code better, faster, and everything. Plus a more it's gonna give you a more focused environment. It's gonna give you more stuff. It's gonna give you more tools, and overall, it's a better experience to code Python into it. Pycharm is one of the great IDEs to code Python into. I have used it before, and it's absolutely free. What can you ask more? So there are two versions: professional and community. Community is the free one, the one we are going to download, and the professional is a paid one. It has a couple more features. It is for the most. It is for more advanced, coders and developers. So if you want to download professional, you can try it out, see what works out for you. It has a 30-day trial, you can try it out. But for the purposes of this tutorial, we are going to be using community. And you can just click this download button to download community version of Pycharm. It's got a 2-minute setup process. Once you have downloaded Pycharm and Python, just run Pycharm. It should run, and just select Python 3 on it. Once you have done that, now we can move on to how the interface and get more, get to know the interface a little more. So let's jump to that screen. So here you are, installed Pycharm and everything, ready to go, huh? Well, I'm ready to go as well until it showed error with my Python. That's sad, I know. It took me 15 minutes to solve that problem, so I'm back. And don't mind if your screen is looking a little different than mine. I know I'm a little further up. I'll help you out. So what you gotta do here is you gotta click on the new project button, right? As you can see, it's a clear blue button. And once you click it, oh, we're on the same page. This page and your page, it's the same. So now, here on this line location, you can change the name of your project. You can name it A, you can name it B, you can name it C. Actually, C. So you can name it anything you like. You can name it your name. I'll name it A, B, C. It won't let me create A because it's already there. Ooh, what you already created it, man. You didn't create it with us. Believe me, it took me a lot of time because it was showing a lot of errors with my Python installation. My PC is old, so that's why. But anyways, the location can be where you want to store your files, basically where you want to store your code and everything. My location is just Pycharm projects. You can choose on your downloads, documents, whichever you like. My base interpreter is this. Now I had to create an interpreter again, but if you're new, it should show two options, and that is the two options, I need to show multiple options. It will show all the Python versions you have. I had Python 3.1 and Python 3.9. So I choose the latest version, Python 3.9, as you just downloaded it. And after that, this is all good, and you can go on to create the project. Now I'm not gonna create it again. I'll just, because I'm running out of storage, you understand. So I'll not create it again. This is already created project. This is what your screen should look like as well. Now it will not look exact because I have the console open right now. Oh, what is the console, bro? Well, I'll explain it to you. Just give me a minute. So let's get you cleared up with the interference. Basically, just forgive my pronunciation. So here you can see this file. You can save project, create new projects, open, and other stuff like that, exit and everything. Here is exit. Here's edit button to undo. You might have written a wrong code or something. Undo that. There are some navigation options. These we'll go over them later on, not now. These are not important right now. What is important is to know what console is. Like, you have been crazy to know what console is. Console is where our code gets shown. We make a game, it's shown in the console. Well, actually it is shown in another app, but I mean, if you create the games are shown in another app. Everything else, everything other code, everything variable, everything related what you're gonna make is gonna be shown in the console basically. Oh, but I don't really follow up with you. Well, let me show you guys how it's done. It's very simple. It's better seen than said. So just look. So now the first statement we are going to be using, that is the print statement. Now let me type it out, then I'll explain it a little bit. print. Actually it's in small. print. The print statement. So this is a statement that is going to be used to print out anything that is within it. How to use it? Well, you're going to need to use open and close parentheses, and you're going to make them like this. Open and close parentheses, and then you're going to have to use quotation marks. So once you've done quotation marks, you can write any value within it. Now, you want an example? This is great. This is fun. All right, this is fun. This is fun. Maybe it is. It is definitely. So this is fun. And now to run your program, you have written it. Now to run it, you're going to have to go up here on this little icon, and you're going to have to click this to run your program, or you can use Shift plus F10. Both of them works. So now I'm going to click on this, and our first program is written. It printed out this is fun, which is awesome. You wrote your first program. I know, it's crazy. Now I also want to explain you all a little important fundamental thing about this. Now, I want to explain all of you a fundamental thing about print statement and basically the coding journey of you on this, Pycharm, basically this interpreter, and that is sequence. How important sequence is. So I'll explain it to you with an example, or you won't understand it otherwise. It is simple, just follow along with me. So now we're gonna remove this. Oh, I know it's a bump, but follow with me. Just copy this, and I'm gonna create 4 of them, or maybe 5. How big of a triangle do you want to see? I don't know, but I'll create 4 for this example. It's gonna be a small triangle. So I'm gonna show it to you with an example of creating a shape. First of all, so we're gonna create a shape on it. So one more thing about print statement is you can basically print anything. It can be a number, it can be any sign and everything, not any advanced thing, like very, what I mean. You can print out anything that's like a sign and everything, basic right now. So like, no, not this, not this, not this. Where is it? Oh yeah, here we go. So we're gonna create a little triangle here. We're gonna start from the bottom up because it's gonna be less complicated. I start from the top, don't mind me, silly me. Well, and then just 2 space this, and then just 3 space this. Wow, but bro, it's not really a triangle. Well, give me a minute. Now this time we're gonna start from the top. So we're gonna do one of this, and we're gonna space one of this out. It's going to be a right angle triangle, the one you learned in maths over 90 degree and stuff like that. Here we are gonna be using the bottom one as well to give it a little more definition. And this should be it. Yo, here we go. Our triangle is ready. Let's try running it. And there we go. We created our first shape in Python. This is a triangle. It looks fabulous in my opinion. And so it worked perfectly. What did you want to teach us from this? Now, what do you think will happen if I took the last statement and put it at the top? Now, let me just clear this up for you. These are just some signs that are being, made from this print statement. Now, this print statement is not making them simultaneously, or it's not processing them linearly. Basically, it's processing them in a sequence, like a time graph, like the sequence time graph. Now let me just show you the example and then I'll explain what that is in further. Just give me a minute. So now I'll copy this and it's copied. I'll cut this. Oh, I should have just cut it from the beginning, but whatever. All right, enter. I'll paste it up here. Where is the paste button? All right, gotcha. And whoa, it's not a triangle anymore, but the basic things are same. The base is same. What happened was the sequence got changed. Now what this is gonna do is, it's everything here works in a sequence. Now you might think, oh, it's very common sense, but it's common sense like it's a time graph. This whole thing is like a time graph. If you create, I'll give you a little advanced example. Don't try to think much of it. It's just for example basis. Like if you create a variable and then you have the code, so the variable is gonna function before the code. So you understand me? Now that variable is not gonna affect the code in itself, but it's gonna keep the value. So, or if you put the variable down below, it's not gonna be processed before the code. So the code's gonna get processed, then the variable is gonna put that value. So you're not gonna get that code, that you're not gonna get that perfect code. So this is like a time graph. The things that come first, even if you put a variable, you put a string value in a variable, anything that you do is gonna come in a sequence or in a time graph, that you understand. It's gonna all come like the first thing first and the second thing second. So as you can see, this does not work because the first thing that it is printing are these 4 signs and then these 3 signs. It was a basic example to make you understand the concept. This is a very important concept of sequence in this Python journey. This is really important that you understand that the thing that you want to happen first is written first. Take this as like a time thing. You want this to happen first, this has to be written first. What is written first is going to happen first in time. So this was a basic example. Now you might be wondering, what were you saying all about that Python, all about that variable thing actually? What was all that about? Well, it's the next topic. It's literally the next topic. So we're gonna study about variables and we're gonna complete strings as well. Those are the 2 topics that are left. Those are pretty decently big, 15 minutes, 10 minutes each. So I'm gonna end this example off here. I'll see you on the variable side when you learn about variables. Hopefully you understood this concept about how print statement, everything. Print statement is a really important statement. You can basically, everything that is written in the statement is going to be printed out here. We're going to get more statements in the future and everything, but print statement is the basic, it's the founding blocks. So hopefully you understood. Let's see on the variable side. Keep on learning, guys. So this is a story that I have written to explain variables to you. So this story is very simple. There once was a man that lived in Delhi named Rahul, and he was 70 years old. Rahul didn't like living in Delhi and he didn't like being 70. It's actually Rahul really liked living in Delhi. I read it wrong. So this is a real working code. Everything is fine with it. We can try running it and it runs absolutely fine. But now we want to change a value. For example, we don't like Rahul being Rahul. We want him to be Mike, for example. So if we want him to be Mike, we are gonna have to change his name here, and we're gonna have to change his name here as well, Mike. actually capital, but I'll just leave it small. It's fine. So as you can see, we had to change it to different types. So now we have another problem. We don't like his age being 70 in the story. So we want it to be 35. Mike is 35. And we'll have to change that same thing here as well. So now, just imagine if there are no variables and this is a code. And the code and the story is, for example, 100 lines long. Now we will have to, if you want to make a change, we will have to look through those 100 lines again and again and find every single place this name was used, Rahul was used, and switch it up with Mike. Now that will waste a lot of time and leave a lot of room for mistakes. So this is where variables come in place. So variables can basically store different values in them. Like basically in maths, like you have read variables in maths. Like in maths, variables store values in form of number, like 9, 10, 11. In this, variables can store values like any word, number, and even Boolean value that I will explain in a minute. So we are going to be using variables, and then we'll only have to change it one time. I'll show it to you. It's easier shown than done, you know. So I'm just going to create a space here. Let me just enter just like that. And to create a variable, you can just name the variable without any quotation marks. So I will, like, if I need to name a variable character, I don't know if the spelling is right, but just let it be character underscore name, and I want it to be something certain, so I will do an equal to and quotation marks, and quotation marks signifies string value. String value is basically a value that is like anything, like a word or anything. You can even put numbers in string value. I'll get back to that in a minute. So use quotation marks for string value. String value is basically plain text about any word or anything. So once that is clear, we can use any string value in this. I will name the character like I will name him Mike. No, I'll use that. I'll name him Tyson. Mike Tyson. You know, Mike Tyson. All right. And then I'll create another variable known as character underscore age. And that will be equal to 20. You want this man to be 20. Mike Tyson, early Mike Tyson. You know, he was a beast. So now we can change this up. So first of all, couple rules before adding a variable. We will have to put the string value back to quotation marks. So what you will have to do is just space this out, and this is it. This is the string value, and plus, now we need to add a plus in this string value plus the variable value. So now we will add the character name. See, here it comes, the character name. And then we will add another plus. Now this wasn't there, but this is to show you how to do it. And quotation marks and a comma, because we want a comma also. Once a man lived in Delhi named Tyson, comma, you know, next part of the story. And so this is how you put variables in. So what you do is you add quotation marks to signify a string, then plus a variable, and then add any other string value left to it. Now he was 35. Now instead of 35, I can do he was, let it be, plus the character age. Just that simple. And I can do the same thing here. Put this out, plus character age. And the same with Mike here. Now we want to put Mike before. Now this time we have to put the variable before. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the character name plus the actually not equal to, plus the string value. You know, plus and equal to are on the same key, so it kind of gets, you know, sometimes mixed up. We'll remove the space before. So it's variable plus the string. So basically it's like, maths addition. X plus 7 8, you can take the 7 8 as a string value here. So it's variable plus the string value that is kept like this. So you understand what I mean to say? It's the variable plus that value in the quotation marks, that plain text. So now if you print it out, it should say Tyson and his age is 20. Let's put it out. Alright guys, just quick note. I found my mistake, alright. It was to not put parentheses here on the 20, alright. Gotcha fam. So, I'll just remove these. I don't think you need them. Unless you do. Let's get wrong again. Nope, it's fine. So, I found the problem. No parentheses on 20. My bad. I was actually looking through something else and I thought I had parentheses on 20. It was a small mistake. Sorry. Forgive me. So now, as we can see here, it prints out the exact same result that we want. Now, we don't want Tyson really, so we'll just add a space here as well and now run it. So now, we get the same result, not the same result, the desired result. Once a man lived in Delhi named Tyson. He was 20. Tyson really liked living in Delhi and he didn't like being 20. Now we got what we wanted, right? All good and cool. So now I also want to show you and tell you about the different type of data that can be stored in a variable. Now, different type of data that can be stored in a variable is first of all a string. String is basic plain data, as you saw it. I already explained string. The other thing that you can use is numbers. Now, if I remove the parentheses here and just put 20, it will work, but you will need a different kind of command for that. You're gonna need to code differently for that, and I will tell you that about that later on. I actually thought I had parentheses on, so that's why it was showing the error. So now numbers can be basically plain any numbers and they do not need parentheses to be around. So you can put on numbers without the parentheses, but if you try to run it normally, I don't think it would work. See, it gives out an error. So other value that you can use is a Boolean value. Now a Boolean value is a true and false value. Now we don't really use true and false values in our real world, as you have seen, but true and false value in this are extremely important, and you're going to need to have to talk about that. Now for Boolean value, you can, and by the way, one more note, as I told you, character underscore age, when you're separating two different words, you're gonna have to use an underscore in Python. So like I am underscore Surya, that's my name. I want that to be equal to, so I am underscore Sujal. I actually should also have an underscore between I and am. So every word should be separated by an underscore. So that's I, that's am, and that's Sujal. And then you can use a Boolean value. A Boolean value can be true value or it can be a false value. See, you can use true and false. We'll get into deeper meaning of that, how to use that, how it's done in just a minute. About that, you can use true and false value. They are extremely important, as it will be coming up. And also, just a quick note before we leave it off right here. I want to show the example of a variable like Tyson. I can change my name here, Sujal, and I can write here 50, for example. Now it should print out there once was a man lived in Delhi named Sujal. He was 50. Sujal he really liked living in Delhi. He didn't like being 50. I'm 50. I really don't like it. It's really inconvenient. And one more topic that I want to cover before we start the other topic. I know you're getting hasty. is to you can change variables in between. Oh, that's exciting. How do you do that? You might ask. Well, I can set a value. See, you remember what I was talking about when I was talking about the time graph thing that you really didn't understand? You understood well, I hope. The time graph value, that basically means that first in that two lines the character name will be Sujal, and then here I can change it to be Mike again. Or actually, I'll change it to, I'll have to do that. I have to do this. Mike, and I'll change his name to Tyson. Ooh, I know you're getting excited, Mike Tyson. Don't worry, he's a 50-year-old Mike Tyson. So now the value can be changed in between. Let's not forget these bad boys again. Let me just do these. Tyson. Everything good now. Now there was a character named Tyson, and now I will run this program, and as you can see, once a man lived in Delhi named Mike. He was 50. Tyson really didn't like living, he really liked living in Delhi. He didn't like being 50. See, you can change the variables midway. It's gonna be very useful because you're gonna have to use different variables. You're gonna have to change the variables again and again to change your story and stuff like that. We are gonna learn more about that in the future. So this is it for the variable part. Hope you found it exciting. It's a different day from the last part, so that's why I might be a little different, but hopefully you found it good. Hopefully you found it entertaining. Now the next topic should be about strings and stuff like that. It's going to be a 10 minutes, 15 minutes topic. I'll add it into this video as well. So have a happy learning. I'll see you when I record that video, maybe in the evening, maybe tomorrow, but don't worry, you'll see it play right after that. See ya. Now we are going to be starting another really interesting topic, strings. Now I've already briefed you about strings in my last tutorial about variables, and now we are going to be learning a lot more about strings in depth and their functions and how they are so viable and can be used in different scenarios. Now you already know strings are plain text values. There are 3 values in total that can be used with the print statement, that is Boolean values, numbers and strings. Strings is one of them. It is plain values. Any alphabet, any sentence is a string, even numbers when they're put under quotation marks. So let's get started. Let's make a string. First of all, if you have not forgotten, we are going to do print, and we are going to do put parentheses. Yeah, sorry for the disturbance. I was talking about print statement, how we are going to be using open, close parentheses and quotation marks. Under the quotation marks, we can write any value, alphabetical sentence value, and it will be a string. Like I can write a line, for example, and I can run it, and it's going to print out a line. It's going to print out that string value. Now that's very simple. You already know it. Now what we don't know is how we can separate a and line into 2 different sentences. I'll actually take another example just because, you know, a is very small letter. So I'll just put in something like, I'll just say the king lion. I'll just say the king, for example. Now we want the king, and the king in different lines, 2 different lines. So for that, there is a really cool function that you can use, and that is using a slanting mark. You have to get them close and use a slanting mark and n. So what this is basically going to do is it's going to separate those 2 strings into 2 different lines. I'll just show it to you. I'll play it, and it should be the king in 2 different lines, as you can see. I'll zoom in a little bit if I can. Oh, it's right. It's the king, 2 different lines. Really cool function, really viable, and yeah, it's gonna come in handy in the future, so just keep this in note. Now, the next function is, if we use quotation marks to mark a string and the value inside it that it is a string. But what if we want the quotation mark itself inside the string? We want to use the quotation mark literally, we want to print the quotation mark. For that, there is another really cool function that you can use, and that is with the standing mark only, and that you have to just put in a quotation mark after standing. So what this does is it takes that quotation mark literally, like literally print that quotation mark. It's in a string value. That quotation marks comes inside the string value now. So when we do play it, it will say the and the quotation mark king. Really cool value. Keep that in mind. All of them are viable. Now, as you already know about making variables, I taught you literally a couple minutes ago. So basically, you already know how to make variables and how to store string value in them. So we'll just do that real quick, and then we will learn how to use string and variable together. So what we have to do is basically, I'll first remove this, make some space for the variable, and I will do, I was going to make a like large variable, but I want to keep it simple. So I might use alphabet. Actually, I'll just use a large word. So I'll use the underscore king is equal to the, I'll just say lion is equal to the king of the jungle. Now you might notice I've used the first letters of them in uppercase. That is for a reason. I'll show you. Just give me a minute. It's not necessary. It's to show an example about upper and lowercase that we will do after this. It's a function. So right now, as you can see, the king of the jungle, a variable is set. I can write line in it, and this will print out the king of the jungle. Really cool, easy variable concept. Now, what if we want to add a string to it? Now, I think you already know the answer to it. I have shown it in the variable video. It's not that complex. So all you have to do is add a plus this, and you have to add quotation marks as you do, and then you can write the string value. The king of the jungle is here. It's a badass line right here, and I will print it out, and they should say the king of the jungle is here. Now you can add a space here, and it should keep the space. The king of the jungle is here. Really easy. You can use string with variables, vice versa. Really easy. Now let's get to the next function that we have, and that is how can we change the entire sentence into lowercase. It's a really useful function. Now what we can do is use this function and turn this entire thing into either upper or lowercase. So I'll just show you. What we have to do is we'll keep the variable as it is, and we'll do, the closing parentheses just went yeah, there we go. So now what we have to do is dot and lower. It is that simple. This is the function that how you use it. You use a variable, dot, lower, and a parentheses to close it off. So what this will do, it will print out that variable, but all the alphabets in the variable are going to be in lowercase. So as you can see, all of them are in lowercase. So this is a good function that you should learn. Just revise it out, write in the notes whenever you're writing it. I don't know. So now you can do the same with upper. Now let me just move lower, and you can do the same with upper, and it will turn the entire all the alphabets in the sentence into uppercase. The king of the jungle. Really badass, So now what we have to do, not have to do, but it's another cool function, is how can we know if it is all in uppercase? Now the answer of this will be in a boolean value, that is true and false. So let's do it. It's related to the uppercase as well. So what you have to do is dot, and you have to write is upper. All right, is upper closing parentheses, and now it will give an answer in true or false whether the entire sentence is in uppercase or lowercase. False. It's not in all uppercase. So now, if we were to change this to, well, the king of the jungle. Now the answer should be true. So it can tell you if it is entirely lower or uppercase. Really cool. Of the jungle. Same goes with lowercase. It is. Okay, I have to remove this. Is lower, and that should tell out false, as some of these letters are still in uppercase. So is lower means if all of the alphabets, like every one of them, even if one alphabet is in uppercase, it will show false. So that is a use of this function. Now, another thing that we have to learn is that we can use these functions in combination. Now, as you remember, I was talking about time graph. It is also linear. Now, in the linear sense, I mean, it's not that the first, second, as you can see, the lines here. These, of course, the first one will be executed before the second one. But even in the second one, like this, like horizontally, it's gonna play out horizontally. The function that you first put out horizontally is gonna be played first. So, for example, if I was to do the line is upper. So first command that came in this horizontal line is upper. So all the alphabets of this sentence will be turned into uppercase, and then we are going to add another command, and that is upper. So that is going to check if it is in uppercase or lowercase. See how it works? And this should always say true. See, just that simple. This will be exactly same with lowercase. I could show you. Lower. Okay, my computer is lagging a little bit. Just parentheses dot is lower. Now this should play out to be true because turn all of the alphabets first lower and then checked. So now another thing that we can do is to receive information about the given variable is to know its length. So you can know how many alphabets there are in the sentence itself, that is in the variable. So to do that, all you have to do is, first of all, we'll cut this entire thing off. And what you have to do is you have to use a command called len, and then in these parentheses, you're going to write lion. Now this should tell you how many alphabets there are in this sentence, and there are 22 alphabets. So very easy commands. These are really important. These functions and strings, everything are really important. They're gonna come in the future as well when we are moving forward with this series. So now another thing that we have to learn is, it is index. We can like a specific index of an alphabet. Like, first of all, I want to I'll just show you the function, and then I'll explain it. It's better seen, and then I'll tell about it. So what we have to do is we have to write our line, caps lock, lion, and then we are going to be using these brackets. I showed you these brackets, and we are going to be writing a number like 0. So what this is going to do is it's gonna take the first letter of the sentence and it is going to give it to us. So this T, that is the first letter of the sentence, and that is what we should get once we start T, capital T. So now you might be wondering, why does it start at 0? It starts at 0 in almost every language, if you want to know. But the counting of alphabets starts with 0, and like if you want to know the E, so it will not actually be 3, it will actually be 2. So a simple way to do this is to just get a line in between them, do a couple of spaces and start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So like we want the n, we want the 6. So we will type this out, 6. It's going to be an error if I keep this on. So now when we run this, it's going to give us the n. It's really simple. We can, really important as well to know the index of any alphabet in a sentence. And remember to note that the counting starts from 0. Just write it down if you're writing notes, or if you're coding with me, just write it down. It's important. So alright, one more thing that you can do is you can know the index itself of an alphabet. You can give it that information that you want to know the K in the king in the sentence and know its index. So how you can do that is lion, we'll keep the variable, and then you have to be dot index. Okay, sorry. Alright, I misclicked enter a couple of times. Index, and then you can write under parentheses. Remember, under parentheses, it is not a number value, it is a string value. And we're going to write now GK. All right, so now seems to be giving us an error because there will be one more closing parentheses. Right, now it's done. So now this should give us the index, like the number of K, where the K is. I think it should be first, second, third, fourth. It should be on the fourth. See, very easy. You can get the index of any alphabet if you already know the sentence in a variable. Really easy, really important. Just write it down, guys. So now we can also do a really cool thing if you want to know, like you do not know the specific letter, but you know the word and you want to know where the word starts. So I can just write king and it will tell me the index where this word starts from. And that is fourth again because it starts from K, right? So this will again give us 4. So you can write king, you can write the entire sentence and it should give us 0. So like I'll just show you. The king of the jungle, and this will still give us 0 because the starting alphabet is 0. See, really easy, really simple. Now one more thing you can do is you can replace the alphabets, words in the sentence itself. So how you can do that is print lion and then replace. And in this replace, there's a specific pattern that you have to write it into. Now we have to replace the lion. So we will use, first of all, a quotation mark, and we are going to write lion in it. Because that is what we want. No, actually, we want king replaced. I forgot. We want the king part replaced, and we want it replaced with the, what can the lion be? The dominator. We want it to be dominated. So it will replace the word king with dominator. Now this should work if there is no error, I think. See, this works out. The dominator of the jungle. Now that is a badass line, but I'm not gonna say much about that. I've already said it. But see how it switches, it replaces the king with dominator. Now always use a comma and always use parentheses when you are defining string values. Because I myself sometimes make this mistake where I don't use, these quotation marks. They are really important. Always remember to use quotation marks when you're defining a string value. Now this is it for string. There were a lot of functions. There are a lot more functions as well. This was for this video, this basic video. It was introduction to all of the first concepts that you're going to need. The next video is going to start with numbers and other stuff like that. There's going to be a little more, calculator stuff like that. We are going to build a calculator. We are going to learn about numbers like we just learned about strings. And there's going to be like a mediocre beginner kind of video, and then the next one's gonna be more of a game developing, a little bit of other stuff like that. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. This is it for today. We ended off at strings. There were how many topics did we cover? We covered good three topics in this video. A good three topics: how to download, introduction, and everything. Hope you enjoyed this video. Do leave a like down below. Do give us a subscribe. Do give me a subscribe. Actually, there's no us, but hopefully you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. Have a great night, and happy Diwali as on the time of recording. Happy Diwali, guys.